The sevens are upon us, and you need to know everything about them. Hello everybody, and welcome to Geekstreet Cafe. Now that we've had the release of the iPhone 7 and the Galaxy 7 series, I thought it was time for me to take a look and compare a couple of the models. Because as you know, when we read the release notes about all these things, we see these, two huge lists of all these different things, of details and numbers and specifications that don't mean anything to us. So I thought it would be time for me to explain to you guys really what's going on here. And I'm going to take a look at two phones in particular today. The iPhone 7 Plus and the Galaxy Note 7. The reason I'm choosing these two phones is because they're pretty comparable to size, and they're also the two most feature-loaded phones of their series. So let's get started. The iPhone 7 is the most feature-loaded phone we've ever seen Apple release. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm saying that the difference between an iPhone 6 and an iPhone 7 is all that great. In fact, the span is pretty minimal. What I am saying, however, is that I'm going to give the 7 the benefit of the doubt and explain all of its features. So one of the things that they did, and did wisely, is that the iPhone 7 is the first of its series ever to be rated as water resistant. In fact, they actually touted that as a grand feature in their keynote release. This is a good thing, but just how splash resistant is it? On Apple's website, they claim that it is splash and water resistant, which is an important word. It's not waterproof, meaning that you can hold it underwater indefinitely, but rather they say keep it above 3.3 feet and no more than 30 minutes. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't really intend to stick my iPhone under 3 feet of water for more than 30 minutes. If I drop my phone in 1 foot of water for 5 seconds, I'm going to have a heart attack and die. So that's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. What it does mean is that you can definitely wipe your phone off with some water if necessary, or if it takes a dunk in the toilet, you'll be fine. Other than the kind of gross thought and not wanting to know what your iPhone just came in contact with. But other than that, it'll be great! The iPhone 7 also has a new feature coming with it, a new home button. It doesn't look any different, don't get me wrong there, but what it does do is it's now pressure sensitive, meaning that app developers and probably the baked-in apps will have special options for, a half a press or some, force sensitive feature on that home button. They also say it's going to be customizable, meaning that you will be able to set a setting to what you want it to do depending on how hard you press. We don't really know any of the fine details yet. They only gave a brief explanation during their keynote, but what it does mean is that it's adding the home button to the 3D touch or the pressure sensitive touch system that they've been adding on to since the 6S. Oh, and by the way, did I say that they released a new color? Jet black? Yes, I like black. Black is cool. Tekken black is awesome. The iPhone 7 Plus features 2 cameras on the rear of their phone this year. For you professional photographers out there, this is great because it means that one is a wide-angle lens while the other is a telephoto lens. This means 2 things. One, you get that extra crisp, clear photo op when you need that selfie taken, as long as it's from the rear. The other thing, though, is that it has great zoom ability. They also claim that they're going to add on some extra features that it can do later, such as a wide-angle shot and things like that, but that's to come in the future. For the rest of the world that aren't really picky about their photos or professional photographers, this means nothing. Another feature that Apple has always been very proud of and is equally important on the iPhone 7 is their Retina display, which basically means they're packing in even more pixels into a tighter space. Now, there's more details that you can get into, that you can go onto the Apple website and take a look for yourself, but without going into all the numbers, they don't have the clearest screen. They do have the greatest color range, but they don't have the clearest screen. That reward still sits on the Galaxy series. But you're getting a crisp, clear, pixel-perfect image every single time. Every time Tim Cook is on stage, he always talks about their A-series chips and how it's the newest and the greatest chip in the market. Most people have no idea what this means and they don't care and they move on with their lives, which is pretty okay. But if you're interested, I'm going to break it down for you in about 30 seconds. The A-series chip is iPhone's in-market chip system that processes the actions your iPhone takes. Now, what this means is that the better the chip, the faster your phone. And this is good and doesn't matter at the same time, because we're getting to the point where we can't tell if it's faster. It's already almost instantaneous. So if you have an iPhone 6, the speed of your processing power is about double in the iPhone 7. Now if you have an iPhone 6s, then it's only about 1/3 faster. So you really won't notice a difference unless you're running something really, really heavy, but that's okay if you really want to have that extra speed just so you can feel good about yourself. Another new feature in the iPhone 7 series is stereo sound. Now I don't know about you, I don't normally use my phone with its normal speaker system often, but when I do, I've always noticed that it's on one side and I have to, cup my hand to try to get the sound to project. They've fixed that in this series, adding a speaker to the top of their phone as well as the bottom. Now when you're holding it in portrait mode, it only uses the bottom speaker, but anytime you're watching a YouTube video like mine, or if you're using an app that requires sound and you hold it in landscape mode, it suddenly activates that other speaker, giving you a crisp, clear, great sound. While we're on the topic of sound, everyone's talking about iPhone getting rid of the headphone jack. Deep breath, Cole. Deep breath. This is not a bad thing. Let me be clear, I'm not against them getting rid of the headphone jack. That's not a big deal to me because the headphone jack has been around for almost 70 years now. Not in wide use, but in use. Here's my problem with it. They switched their headphones to the Lightning port, meaning that Apple once again is using proprietary tech that can't be regulated throughout the entire system. Which means every other phone out there that isn't Apple can't use their headphones. If you're gonna switch to another standard, make it a standard that the whole world can use, so then it's one great, magnificent thing. Don't make it yours. Sorry, rant over. There's some great features that adding the headphone jack to the Lightning port gives. Or to any other powered port like, USB-C, Apple, hello. What it means is that you get better sound quality, you get better features, you can have powered bass or you can have, sound canceling headphones. This is all great and awesome. But most people won't care. So let's talk about the Galaxy Note 7. Now before we get into any of its features and its good points, let's go ahead and cover something about the recent issue that everyone knows about. The explosion problem. Well, it's not really an explosion, more of like a flash fire. It kind of ignites and then burns. It doesn't actually blow up except in rare cases. What happened was they had a defect in their batteries. And so their batteries would overheat and then, things would happen and woof! I do, however, have to give Samsung props on handling this PR nightmare so well, making sure that they take care of the people that are affected, as well as getting new phones out so quickly. So good on you, Samsung. Now let's get on to the nice details. First of all, they still have a better camera than iPhone. They always have. They probably always will. It's just clearer, crisper, works better in the dark, all the features, cameras. One fantastic feature they added this year is they added another camera to the front of their phone that does one thing, and one very good thing. They added an iris scanner. Now we haven't had a lot of time for people to really test it out on the large scale and see how effective it is, but from the early reviews they said it was very accurate provided that you kept your eyes open and still on the camera. I'm personally really excited about this because when you're wearing gloves, the fingerprint scanner doesn't work. One positive thing that they have added about their battery is that their battery is fantastically powerful this year, lasting an entire day even with constant use. It actually almost doubles the length of the iPhone battery that you would have, which is great for those people that are constantly on their phones. Something that Galaxy copied iPhone on this year was actually their health app. They've added a baked-in health system to give you tips, articles, suggestions, things to live a healthier and better lifestyle. Another thing that Galaxy seems to have one-upped iPhone on this year is their waterproof rating. iPhone is rated for IP67, which is about 3.3 feet. Galaxy literally one-upped them. Their rating is IP68, meaning that it's good for up to about 5 feet for 30 minutes. Now, as I said before, I don't really intend to take my phone in 5 feet of water for any time at all, but it makes it for a really great opportunity for you to say, I don't have to worry about water anymore. Something else that Galaxy seems to have copied Apple on in a great way is their new USB-C connector. This is the first phone that Galaxy has ever released with this kind of connection type. What it means is, like the Lightning port, you can turn it no matter what direction and it'll always fit in. So no more fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out how to plug your phone into charge. Overall, they kept a lot of the features that made the other Note 5 so great, such as, NFC capabilities, great Bluetooth connection, awesome stereo sound, as well as several other features such as a really crisp, clear screen and many other things. So overall, both phones, great features. The choice is up to you guys. Personally, I'm realizing something very quickly. The phones are taking the best that they see in other companies and adding it to their own system. So the question that you have is, are you loyal to one or the other? Or do you like features on the Galaxy that, the iPhone doesn't support, such as a stylus pen, NFC ability, things like that? The other argument is for Android versus Apple iOS, and that's an entire episode on its own. So I want you guys to let me know. Tell me in the comments which you prefer and why. Make sure not to turn it into, a fight or a slugfest, but just let's have some cool discussion, guys. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Geekstreet Cafe. As always, make sure you head down there and hit that subscribe button for me, and why not head over to Facebook through the link in the description and like that page while you're at it. This episode has been brought to us by Triangle Insurance and Associates. Now these guys are fantastic at providing the lowest possible price for the most coverage on home, auto, life, and other categories. If you have any interest, make sure you check out their website below in the description. They also kindly provided us with the cafe. Thank you guys so much for joining me today at Geekstreet Cafe. As always, you guys stay geeky and I'll see you next time at the cafe.